Most Star Wars battles happen in spaceships flying through the vast reaches of outer space or with dueling lightsabers. But did you know that some very important Star Wars battles happened in the courtroom? Now that may sound like the most boring Star Wars film ever, but some of these real-life legal battles involved a man resurrected from the dead, a secret school for weapons training, a fight with an American president, and of course, some cartoon sex scenes. Today, we're talking about the top 5 courtroom battles in Star Wars history. Starting at number 5, Star Wars versus the Lightsaber Academy. Now, everyone agrees that the lightsaber is one of the coolest movie weapons ever created. Powerful, sleek, and intimidating to enemies, most kids have picked up a stick and pretended to wield a lightsaber at some point. But when one man tried to train others in lightsaber combat, he felt the power of the Force to stop him. Michael Brown was the man who had opened a company called Lightsaber Academy to train others in the way of the Jedi. And in case you're wondering if he was just a fan doing it for fun, think again. He had another company named New York Jedi, and his logos were clearly influenced by Star Wars logos, which were protected by copyright. He even tried to claim a copyright on the phrase Lightsaber Academy. That's when Lucasfilm said cease and desist. They demanded a permanent injunction against the Academy, as well as up to $2 million in damages for each trademark infringement. The lawsuit was filed in 2016, and as of today, the original website, lightsaberacademy.com, no longer leads anywhere. So for now at least, you'll have to learn your lightsaber moves on your own. Next up at number 4, the death and resurrection of Peter Cushing. When Star Wars Rogue One came out in 2016, audiences were surprised to see the return of a famous character portrayed by Peter Cushing, who had passed away 22 years before Rogue One was released. He appeared thanks to CGI reanimation using images of the long-deceased actor. Now, Cushing's family gave permission for his likeness to appear in the film, and it seemed like Lucasfilm was safe. But then another production company said they had the rights to Peter Cushing's likeness because of a contract they signed with him before he died. They took Lucasfilm to court, and even though Lucasfilm tried to have the case tossed out, it will still be headed to trial soon. So not only does Peter Cushing not have control over his own likeness, but even his surviving family can't stop another company from suing Star Wars because they own Peter Cushing's likeness. Moving on to number 3, Star Wars versus President Reagan. In 1983, the final film in the original Star Wars trilogy, Return of the Jedi, released to huge success. Star Wars had never been more popular. And that's why that same year, when President Reagan proposed a new missile defense system called Strategic Defense Initiative, it got nicknamed Star Wars. George Lucas was not happy about his name being used as a political prop. Lucasfilm sued High Frontier, the lobbying firm responsible for marketing the missile program with the famous franchise's name. In the end, the court ruled against Lucas, saying that the name wasn't for commercial use or the actual sale of goods and services, but simply as a description of the complicated program. The judge even said that the name could be considered parody and therefore protected under the law. Now, Lucas may have lost the court battle, but Reagan's Star Wars missile program was officially ended in 1993 under the Clinton presidency, while the Star Wars movie franchise is still hugely successful over 30 years later. Now for number 2, Gina Carano kicks back at Star Wars. After finding success as a mixed martial arts fighter, Gina Carano moved into acting and landed a role on the hugely popular Star Wars series, The Mandalorian. During the run of the show, Carano became controversial over social media posts mocking trans people, and then another where she compared being a conservative to being Jewish during the tragic events of World War II. As a result of the public backlash, Disney fired Carano from The Mandalorian and a planned spin-off series. That's when Carano used her MMA instincts and threw some punches of her own. She sued the company for discriminating against her because of her public stance on hot-button issues. The case became a rallying cry, with groups on either side holding strong opinions about what should be done. In the end, Carano and Lucasfilm Disney settled out of court, with the terms of the settlement not publicly disclosed. Time will tell if Carano ever gets to travel to a galaxy far, far away ever again. And finishing the list at number 1, Star Wars versus Star Balls. There have been plenty of parodies of Star Wars over the years, from Robot Chicken and Family Guy to the Mel Brooks movie Spaceballs. But none of those were sued by Lucasfilm like the movie Star Balls. And the reason? Because none of those other ones were animated adult films. Starballs was released in 2001, just 2 years after Lucas relaunched Star Wars on the big screen with The Phantom Menace in 1999. The adult film follows a character named Wank Solo on his mission to save a sexed-up princess from the Ass Star. Yes, all of that is really in there. Lucas was obviously bothered by the similarity, and he filed a lawsuit against the creators of the film. The creators of Starballs said that the film was a parody of many films like The Matrix and Titanic, and not just Star Wars. Ultimately, the court did not support Lucas's lawsuit. They said that the Star Wars brand was so well known that it was highly unlikely anyone would ever confuse Starballs as being an actual entry in the Star Wars brand. Though he lost the legal battle, Lucasfilm went on to make 6 more movies and several TV series, with more on the way. As of today, there has never been a sequel to Starballs.